Well, good afternoon and welcome back to the Man Cave. First of all, thanks very much to those who've been wishing me well regarding me my latest ailment. My knee is improving nicely, thank you, and in actual fact a couple of days ago I went a nice run across to North Wales. More of that in a couple of weeks time, but this one's a little local trip. It's something that's been in the back of my mind for a couple of years now to cover, and I know there's one aspect of it that's been covered by other people, but this is just regarding Mam Tor, the Shivering Mountain if you like, and the disaster that's happened to the A625 all those years ago. But this has just put my take on it really. It's local to where I live, and I remember the situation well. So yeah, we're going across to Mam Tor via some lanes that I'd forgotten just how nice they were and how nice the views were, to be honest. That long since I've ridden or driven them. So yeah, across to Mam Tor, down to Castleton. A little bit of story regarding the background of one of Castleton's best known and most lucrative exports, Blue John stone, and what it's used to make, and a little bit of the one possible background to the origins of its name, but also talking about the show caves in the Castleton area, because it is very much the caving area of the Peak District as Castleton and its area, and the sad tragedy that took place in Peak Cavern, the cave that's nearest to Castleton itself, and then finishing up with a little run over the top and down into Edale, if only to go to the wrong pub, but more of that later. So yes, again, thank you for your kind wishes and your kind inquiries regarding my knee, etc. But yeah, it's coming on nicely. Oh, big news! 900 subscribers this morning. Most impressed and most grateful am I. Thank you very much, folks. So see what you think of this one. I know it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I do like to include stories, and make no excuse for that, but I just hope you find it, like I say, find it interesting. So see what you think. If you can give us a thumbs up, that'd be great. And of course, if you could add to those 900, that'd be even better. Thanks a lot. Cheers. Well, good afternoon and welcome back. Just leaving Buxton. Yes, I'm across here poaching at the minute. So we're going to leave an interesting way. Little green lane that cuts through the golf course. So you just got to look out for golf balls. I've come across here on purpose because it's a good way of testing my knee. It's feeling a lot better, and I'm feeling more confident about being able to stand on the foot pegs. And it does feel a lot better. First time I've done this for quite a while now, so right, look out for golf balls. So we're going to go out, we're heading out, like I say, into Derbyshire, into the Derbyshire Dales. Little bit, oh, golf ball, missed it. Little bit of history, I suppose, really. Little bit of my history again, my background, a little bit of local geology. A little bit of geological disaster. So this next bit's a little bit industrial, so I'll not bother too much with this. And I'll see you a bit further on. Now look at this beautiful view. We've come over the top from cutting across, I suppose, really from the A6 across to the 625. We're coming down towards Peak Forest, which is down to our left. And it's just these beautiful limestone dales and the fantastic views that you get. Sometimes they're a complete surprise. I'd forgotten what this view was like, to be honest. It's that long since I've been across here, but it's a bit special, to say the least. I'm treating this as a bit of an exercise as well. I was watching Peter's video on Lane's Explorer on Thursday, and he's acquired a Beeline Moto. I think it's a Moto 1 that he's got. Well, I've had this Beeline unit for 4 years more. Hardly used it. I'm a paper map man myself. I plan all my routes on well, OS maps in this country, but it's useful to have this little thing as a backup. So I'm using it. You can see the little unit in front of me, a little circular unit. It's quite intuitive the way it works, although it seems to think that we should be turning left here where I'm going to turn right. So I do enjoy confusing these things. The trouble is I end up confusing myself sometimes. These tractors are getting bigger. All I ever want is a little grey Fergie, but I'm not allowed. So we'll take the little back lane across to Perryfoot. And this takes us through an absolutely beautiful little valley. Looks like it's a bit of a scarecrow festival at the minute. Now we're coming into an area that's got one heck of a lot of holes in the ground, and I don't mean mines. Some of them are mines, admittedly, but the Peak District, certainly the Derbyshire section of Peak District, has got a lot of what we call sporting caves, particularly in this area. And some of the best ones are within a stone's throw of where we are at the minute. Here at Perryfoot. Now, I used to be a caver for about, I don't know, 10 or a dozen years or so. So I've explored an awful lot of underground passageways and shafts hereabouts. One in particular is over to our left, just over the hill to the left is the entrance, and that's a cave called, well, some call it Jackpot, Its technical name is P8, Peakland 8, P8 cave. Above us to the right is, we can't see these caves, but above us to the right is, there's a whacking great big gash in the ground up there, which is Eldon Hole, which gave its name to the caving club that I belong to, the Eldon Pothole Club. They're down here to the left. This is the absolute, down here is the absolute classic of Derbyshire caves. This is Giant's Hole down here. It's way down the bottom, turn right, and the entrance is just over the other side of this grassy hill. I've spent many a happy hour in Giant's Hole, the Shivering Mountain to begin with, because what we have across it, I know other people have covered it, but I just want to put my take on it. Where we're coming down to, this was the main road between Chapel and Ifrit to our left and Castleton and ultimately Sheffield to our right, and this was the A625. But for many years, there's such serious problems with landslip. Now, as I say, we're in some of the most interesting of the limestone country, but we're also on the border of the gritstones and shales, and over to the right is Blue John Cavern, but up to the left of us is Mam Tor, M-A-M Tor, also known as the Shivering Mountain. As I say, this was the main road, but the ground is so insecure, unstable I should say, hereabouts. What we're looking up at is the south face of Mam Tor, and it is just a pile of shale basically, and the whole thing was a massive landslip, and you can see down below us that was the road. This work was going on. 1912 was probably the earliest example of the road having to be shored up because of landslip, and it went every few years they had to come and shore it up and rebuild it, and eventually they gave up. The last time it actually fell down or slipped away was 1974, and they persevered for 5 years with it, but eventually they had to accept that they were fighting a losing battle, and the road was abandoned in 1979. But that's Mam Tor, and it's because of those shales that there's things made of. The Shivering Mountain, because every now and again it shimmers because there's a layer falling down, another landslide. But so yes, the Shivering Mountain and the old A625 I should say, and down below us is Castleton and Hope, looking down into the Hope Valley. That ridge up to this is Rush Up Edge to the left of us, and over the far side of that is the Edale Valley, which I'm going down into a bit later. But as I've said, this limestone, this carboniferous limestone, Holds all sorts of treasures in the form of minerals, lead, copper, fluorite, fluorspar, this is across here as Blue John Cavern. Blue John is a decorative, pure but decorative fluorite that's got really pleasant colours to it. Semi-precious stone effectively, and it's all sorts of different colours. Yeah, the name Blue John tends to suggest it's going to be blue, but it isn't. It's everything from yellows through oranges, amber, into blue and purple. But it's thought that the name Blue John was given to it by the French. Bleu jaune, blue and yellow, because of these varied colours. But that's Blue John. It's very expensive to buy. Makes jewellery, ornaments. I'll try and find some examples to illustrate what I'm talking about. But yes, that's Blue John Cavern, where this fluorite, this colourful fluorite, was discovered. And capitalised on. But when the road finally got closed in '79, I can remember it happening. See, the road up to the right, that's the road that comes across from Chapel Frith and used to carry on down where it's fallen away. So to begin with, virtually all the traffic, apart from heavy goods, they had to reroute heavy goods vehicles straight away. In fact, I'm fairly sure there's been a weight limit put on there because of the friable nature, the unstable nature of the road or the ground that it was running across. So everything came across here and down through Winnott's Pass. Now, Winnott's Pass is an absolutely spectacular stretch of road through the main part of it. It's a ravine effectively, but it is truly spectacular. And at first, back in the 70s, this was a really very narrow single track road, and it couldn't handle the amount of traffic that was being forced down it by the closure of the 625. So eventually it was widened and became effectively a two-way road. It's a little alpine pass, really. Down here we've got another of the show caves. There are 4 show caves altogether here at Castleton. Blue John Mine, which I've shown you, which is where one of the 2 where the Blue John is mined, is turned out from. This one is Speedwell Mine. On the right here. And that's a lead mine, or a former lead mine, and there's effectively a canal down at the bottom, and people visiting go down there on the guided tour, and they take a boat, electrically propelled boat, through the flooded passageway. Now we've got Castleton in front of us, but another one of the show caves is up on the right, but we can't actually get to it. That's Peak Cavern up there. I'll talk about it in a few minutes. This was the road, this was the continuation of the A625. This is going back up effectively to the collapsed section of road. We just bypassed it by coming down through the Winner's Pass. But just up here is the other Blue John mine effectively. This one is Peak Cavern. Both on the same seam of fluorite really, are Tree Cliff up here above us to the left, and Blue John Cavern. So that's the other end of the road. You can see just how lumpy the tarmac was. It really was serious stuff. So yeah, we've just missed out the middle bit because it's all fallen down. So there's the entrance to Tree Cliff Cavern, up the steps up there, well, up the rails actually. Little supply track to it. These are the steps that go up to the entrance, quite a way above us really. So yes, there's Blue John Cavern and Tree Cliff Cavern, which are actually very close together. They're the two facilities that produce this beautiful Blue John fluorite. So I come back down into Castleton now. A great tourist attraction, Castleton in itself. But over to the right, you can't really see the entrance from the road, but you can see a big hollow in the trees. And that is the entrance. It's the largest cave entrance in Britain. It's Peak Cavern. But it goes by another name these days. Just Peak Cavern. It's now known as the Devil's Arse. Believe me, it's true. The Devil's Arse. I'm going to try and get a view of the entrance so that you can see what I'm talking about. It is massive. It's a whacking great big hole in the ground. Here we are then. This is the entrance to the Devil's Arse. This is Peak Cavern. And it is massive. The camera won't show just how big the entrance is, but it's a massive opening, and this was home to all sorts of different people over the centuries. A lot of the equipment, the old wooden equipment that's in there, is from the days when some of the residents who lived here actually made ropes. It's quite a well-known rope making factory, but it rapidly became a tourist attraction when show caves sort of started to come into the bean, come to their sort of their time, shall we say. Peak Cavern is quite an important one because of the history behind it. It's also what we call a sporting cave. There's beyond where the tourists are taken to. There's tighter, lower and steeper passages that are only really explorable by cavers and potholers, and I've done my fair share of it over the years. But this is the site of an absolute tragedy. Back in 1959, it was March 1959. It was called the Neil Moss tragedy, and there was a group of students on a sporting trip exploring the cave, and this one young lad, he was 20 years old, was Neil, a student, and he descended a very tight passage from a chamber, and descended a rope ladder, and got himself into difficulties and couldn't get out. Like I say, Neil was 20. They didn't understand a lot of the potential problems at the time back in 1959. One of which was that there was no regulation regarding the spacing of the rungs on the ladder, and if the rungs had been a little bit closer together, he probably could have climbed out, but because he'd gone so far down and it was so constricted, he just couldn't get his foot up onto the next rung. So as a result of this tragedy, things were standardised. Something else they didn't realise was that he actually died of carbon dioxide poisoning. He asphyxiated, did the poor lad. They tried all sorts to get him out. They fed oxygen down to him, but the problem is oxygen is lighter than carbon dioxide, and the oxygen just floated up to the surface again. And he died, and there was no way of getting him out. So his family were consulted. He was dead. They knew that. So he was sealed in, and a series of stones were put over the top of the shaft, and one sizable slab was put on there, and it just says Neil Moss, R.I.P. I've been in that chamber, and it's a sobering thought. So yes, 1959, 20-year-old Neil Moss died and remains in situ in the depths of the cave. Very much a sobering thought. But we can't see from here, but the entrance, the cavern itself, does open out quite considerably more once you get inside. I'm not paying £21.50 to film in there. I'm sorry, I'm too tight. But the whole concert's in there, and I would dearly have loved to have gone a fortnight ago to a concert being performed by a Pink Floyd tribute band. It would have been absolutely fantastic. I understand that the acoustics are really, really interesting in there, but never mind. So that's Peak Cavern, aka the Devil's Arse. A bit special. So we're back on Blizzard, and we'll take a little run into the middle of town, into Castleton itself. It's a real flesh pot so far as tourists are concerned. So many food outlets and gift outlets, shall we say. It's somewhere I tend to steer clear of, generally speaking, but got a good reason to be here today, so we'll have a little look around, see what I can find, see if I can't illustrate what I'm talking about. Right, let's go see what we can find. Well, we've got a little shop here. Blue John Gems. Let's see what they got in display. Well, we've come back up to Mam Tor, back out of Castleton, back the way we came effectively, but so we're going over into Edale. I'm going to meet some people from Scotland, a couple of friends from Port Patrick over in Edale. In any case, so I thought I'd bring you across with me. So that's Mam Tor, the Shivering Mountain up to the right of us. Now look at that. This is an event I used to take part in when I was fell running. way back in the 80s, and then abouts was the Edale skyline, and it's quite a well-known walk in actual fact. And the skyline, it's effectively the entire skyline all the way around Edale. Edale is where the most famous of long distance, the original long distance footpath, starts from. The Pennine Way, 271 miles from Edale up to Kirk Yetholm, just virtually on the Scottish border. And the first obstacle in the way is Kinder Scout. And that massive amount of flatness over in front of us, over there, that is all part and parcel of Kinder Scout. There's all little hills with separate names, Mill Hill, etc. But yes, that's Kinder Scout over there. Used to generate a lot of work for us when I was in the mountain rescue team at Buxton. Twisted ankles, heart attacks, people simply lost in the mist, because that's quite easy up there when the low cloud comes down. It really is. But like I said earlier, Mam Tor is effectively on the border between the limestone dales and the gritstone moors, and over there is quite definitely the gritstone moors. There's a beautiful little railway journey that comes through here. It's on the main line between Sheffield and Manchester. Through the Edale Valley. Not been up here for years. It's wrong, really. I only live just down the road, for goodness sake. Just gets so busy. Here we are. It's not very much to it, but it's still the biggest conurbation in Edale Valley and in the valley. So. Couple of pubs famous, well, favourites for walkers. One's a Rambler we just passed, and the other one, which is where I'm meeting my friends, Robert and Miner from Portpatrick. It's up here at Ye Olde in Nag's Head, the original pub in the village. I don't think I'll park up here. Don't think I'll be able to. At least I can show you where it is. And this, I suppose, really, right here, this is where the Pennine Way actually starts. The footpath starts right at the side of the Nag's Head. It's a lovely place, it really is. It does get so incredibly busy. So yes, the Nag's Head. You can tell it's the original pub, can't you? Just look at the age of it. Must be a date somewhere. And then the official start of the Pennine Way. Marvellous. Takes me back when I was 17. Right. Where's Robert and Miner? We'll have a pint with them. Well, a lemonade. So that's it then. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you found it interesting. So give us a thumbs up, like and subscribe and all that, you know what I mean. And I'll see you in the next one.